welcome to a new episode of the Jazz Zodiac Podcast, the greatest wrestling podcast you've never heard of. This is the podcast that believes that if Rhea Ripley didn't have to relinquish her title when she got hurt and had surgery, then Chelsea Green shouldn't have to relinquish hers for having a broken orbital bone in her face. Wear a mask. Move the fuck on. Seriously. Yeah, I'm sorry. If Rhea doesn't have to relinquish hers, then Chelsea shouldn't have to either.
I thought I read somewhere that they officially said that Rhea's officially dropped the title. That
Chelsea because she had that surgery. Yeah, she posted a picture on Instagram or something.
Yeah,
and it was her knee in a brace, and she was given that sign, and yeah, so she's going to be out for at least 6 months. I guess they thought she'd be out for 1 to 2 months, but now that it's 6, I'm like, why even have her as an intern? Make it the full thing, which I'm okay with.
1 month maybe, but not 6 months. No way.
Yeah, agreed. So Chelsea Green is officially our champion. She's supposed to. We're filming this at 5:00 on Friday. SmackDown's in 2 hours. Apparently, she's opening the show, so I'm curious what she's going to open the show with. She's probably going to come out with a mask. I mean, there's been plenty of wrestlers that have worn the mask for a broken.
Oh yeah,
Undertaker wore one for a minute. Rhea Ripley, Cody Rhodes.
Beefcake.
Yeah, fuck, I forgot about Beefcake. Fuck, totally forgot about that guy.
I want to say that was at WrestleMania 9. Don't quote me.
Oh, that's why. The unforgettable WrestleMania 9.
I'm almost sure that's when he wore it, so I'll fact check that later.
But we're not talking WWF or WWE right now because we don't have another PLE for another 2 weeks with All In, AEW's All In. We're going to go back in the time machine. We're going to jump into the DeLorean. We're going to go to 88 miles an hour. We're going to go back to July 7th, 1990. And that is, of course, the WCW Wrestling, the Great American Bash, again on July 7th, 1990 in Baltimore, Maryland at the Baltimore Arena. Isn't that where the DX Army showed up at, by the way? Or is that a different arena? Was that Norfolk?
I'd have to double check that one, but yeah, I'd have to double check. I don't remember the exact location.
Okay.
I want to say they went to a few different locations, if I remember correctly.
The attendance for this show was 14,000 with a buy rate of 200,000. Not bad. For 1990, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, not bad for that year. Commentary
team, Paul Cod and good old JR, Jim Ross. Gotta love JR.
And love JR.
Love JR. And I know he probably doesn't listen, but we want to give him well wishes. He just had brain surgery not too long ago, so we hope he gets a speedy recovery. We need him back on commentary. Wrestling, not just WWE, but wrestling in general is not the same without good old JR behind the commentary desk. So
it's going to be a sad fucking day when we lose him, let me tell you.
I don't even want to think about that.
I don't either, but
I don't even want to think about it. There'll be a couple of notes during the show that I'll bring up, but the one I want to bring up is that the Great American Bash, the 1990 version of the show, would be the final Great American Bash held under the NWA banner, as WCW succeeded from the NWA in January of 1991. So, yeah, this would be the last time the two would be working together. They would go their own separate ways. I do want to say this, and this is totally unrelated to what we're talking about, but WWE, I'm talking to you. Put the WCW pay-per-views back on with the rest of them. You know what I mean? There's a bunch that I would love to watch that I can't. Bash at the Beach 96 comes to mind, that I can't watch because you fuckers don't have it on there. So put them back on there. Seriously.
We would appreciate it greatly.
We would love it. And not just because it would help our content greatly. Just because,
no, there's also some shows I wouldn't mind going back and watching during the Monday Night War, the golden time of me being a wrestling fan. Just saying.
Yeah. And even then, we can watch Nitros.
Yeah, that too. Nitros, Thunders, all that shit.
Although, you know what? I haven't thought to look to see. But then again, the WCW is owned by WWE now, so it wouldn't be on HBO Max. So never mind. That's a stupid thought. So that being said, our opening, we did have a dark match. Wasn't even on the show. David Sierra defeated Mr. X. No fucking clue who these guys are. This is a whole 1990 was a whole different time for wrestling. It really was. There was a lot of independent. No, but not everybody had been absorbed by one or the other at that point. There were still territories at that time. Yeah. So that being said, the first match, we have Buddy Landel versus Flying Brian Pullman. I love Flying Brian. I actually got to meet his son, Brian Pullman Jr., at an independent show a couple years back. Really, he's a Lewis King in NXT right now.
Yeah,
really nice guy. Got a couple photos with him. He's a really nice guy. So that being said, And of course, Pullman from Cincinnati, Ohio, is wearing the Cincinnati Bengal trunks with the leopard print or whatever the fuck you want to call them, the Bengal print. So, your takeaways on this match, Psycho?
Not too bad of a match, not a bad start. I mean, it started off kind of fast paced, not too bad. Nice showing by Pillman. You know what? I'll be honest, I haven't seen too many of his matches throughout his career. I saw a few when he was with Stunning Steve Austin, and they were what was the name of the tag
Hollywood
team?
Blondes.
Hollywood Blondes, thank you.
Damn, I knew something you didn't. Wow.
Yeah. So I've seen a few matches from that and a few from his WWF days before you know what. But this was refreshing to see an older match that I'd never seen before with him. So, and it's funny. This is the third guy in history that's held the name Nature Boy. Not Pillman, but this Buddy Landau guy.
Yeah, you got, of course, Ric Flair. Fuck, who's the third one?
It's back from the 50s. I always forget the guy's name. He was like really flamboyant or whatever, but I cannot remember his goddamn name. But oh well. But again, not a bad start to the match. You got the Nature Boy, Buddy Landau taking control. Kind of slows the pace down a little bit, but he does take control for the majority of the match. And it ended up being a crossbody to give Pillman the win off the top rope. So you don't see too many of those. Again, like you said, different time for wrestling. You could actually get away with winning with a move like that back then. Nowadays, you don't see that.
And I just thought that there was a time limit that they don't really enforce anymore. They don't enforce a time limit anymore.
Yeah, they did that throughout the entire show. So.
And something that comes into play later on in the show, going over the top rope is actually an automatic disqualification, which will come
only
into
in
play
certain
later.
Situations. But it's only in like certain situations, which they're not very good at being very consistent on what constitutes that rule.
I think it's a WCW thing too, because in WWE and at the time WWF that was not illegal because we had the Rumble, so they kind of let that go away. So I don't know. But again, Brian Pillman gets the win, and again, it's tragic what happened. Bill Pullman could have been one of the greatest of all time. Unforgettable what the video package they did with him and Stone Cold when Stone Cold broke into his house and then he pulled a gun. Yeah, WWF at the time was not afraid to do some really fucked up stories.
They were desperate. That's why their backs were against the wall. That's why they tried a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and some of it hit, some of it did not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this was a decent match. It was a fairly quick match. It was, well, not really fairly quick. It was like a 9-minute match. So, yeah, it was good for what it was. We got to, Brian Pillman just doing what he does, such a great wrestler. Like I said, just gone before his time.
Way before.
Moving on to the next match, we have the Iron Sheik. We're starting to see some WWE or WWF rollovers popping into the WCW locker room because we have the Iron Sheik versus Mike Rotunda. And for those who do not remember who Mike Rotunda is, he's not only the father of Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt, he was also Money Incorporated with the $1 Million Man as
Irwin R. Shyster. Gotta love
He was a shyster, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he really was.
Yeah, him being in the Hall of Fame was long overdue, by the way.
I agree.
Very long overdue. But on paper, the Iron Sheik should mop the floor with Mike Rotunda. Iron Sheik is just such a bigger guy. And I believe this was right before the first Gulf War in 1991 when Sergeant Slaughter turncoat and became part of the Iraqi army and got death threats. Not booed, death threats. You remember that?
You know what? We're 90. You are correct. That is literally the next WrestleMania coming around.
Yeah. And this was in July, so it's like a year away.
Give or take.
Yeah. So that's when Sergeant Slaughter became a turncoat. And of course, the All-American Hulk Hogan, say your prayers and take your vitamins, brother. Oh my God, those are steroids, whatever. Ooh, had to be the good guy to take out the communist threat, as always.
Could have been Macho Man, but that's just
that's that, yeah.
Sorry, we're pro Macho Man around here. Just saying.
I don't have my glasses.
Oh yeah, brother, dig it.
Cream of the crop, baby. First thing in the morning, get that first sip. Oh, yeah. Your thoughts on this match? We went on a total tangent there.
Well, you start talking about the Macho Man. He's one of the coolest things around.
Yeah.
He was.
I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
I was more just happy to see both these two guys. Iron Sheik, obviously a former WWF champion back in the day. And, of course, IRS, we had a lot of fun with him over the years. But the match started out very interesting. Noticed that she kind of clocks Mike with a flag and kind of just beats the crap out of him before the bell rings. And this this happens periodically throughout the show. A lot of starts before the bell, and I'll address those as they happen. But Sheik, he seems to be in control more consistently than Mike throughout the match. But you know what, Mike, he has a few second win type of moments throughout the match, but he never really gains full control at any point during the match that I can remember, as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, like I said, every time he kind of looks like he's trying to gain some momentum, it's kind of short-lived, unfortunately. But
yeah,
I'm still surprised that he got the win with a roll-up. Not the first one we've seen tonight, too. So
no. And as our buddy Simon Miller likes to say, the most spectacular move in sports entertainment history, the small package, the roll-up, you know what I mean? And it was quick. And let me say this now. The freaking referee had some of the quickest pinfalls I've seen in any wrestling match.
Especially later on.
That was a fast fucking
blatant.
That was the Lex Luger match, was it not? It was.
I think it was, yeah.
It was. This was another good match. Again, you know, at this point in time, you know, the only time I'd ever really seen Mike Rotunda was and even the Iron Sheik was in WWF. So it was different seeing them in a different promotion, you know, doing well. I mean, they were more mid card than you know, the main event, but that's fine, you know.
It seemed that way.
Yeah, but again, you know, great match for what it was. Gonna move on. Two gentlemen I don't think I've ever heard of before, and I don't think they really did much after the fact. At least not that I can remember anyway. We have Dutch.
Just wait. I'm gonna blow your mind here in a second.
Okay, fair enough. We got Dutch Mantell versus Doug Furnas. Doug Furnas looked like The Rock. Just that physique of his. He looked a lot like The Rock.
He had a physique. He really did. And but apparently he had a lot of good agility, and he was. You know, I never heard of this fucking guy before.
No, neither have
I didn't even bother to do any research on him. But the other guy, however, Dutch Mantell, I did research on him because he looked familiar throughout the entire match. I'm like, okay, where do I know you, dude? You look so familiar. Well, I figured out who he was.
Okay.
That's people.
Right. That's right. Shit,
Zeb Coulter. Yes, that was totally him.
Man.
It was the face is what gave it away. It's honestly,
that was the beard for me. And he did look familiar, and I'm like, I know that beard from somewhere because he never got rid of the beard. He kept the beard.
No, he definitely kept the beard. It just got a little gray over the years. That's all, as it does to all of us. So I ain't talking shit. Believe me, there's a lot more gray here than you're seeing.
I do love that JR is like, well, apparently the man doesn't care about his physical appearance or his grooming standards. I'm like, JR, what the fuck?
Yeah, they addressed that a couple of times. The fact that he has
JR was on it about that.
Yeah, he's got one of the hairiest backs I've ever seen. And speaking with somebody who knows about hairy backs, that puts anything I've ever seen to shame. Like
even Albert?
Wow.
Prince Albert?
Worse than Albert, dude. That's worse than Albert. Any day of the week. Any day.
Yeah.
At least he had his combed over.
Jesus Christ. Get it parted down the middle. I'm gonna make it look fashionable.
He'll one way. Yeah, one way or the other, it'll make it work. But not a bad match from my perspective. I mean, like I said, this Furnas guy, he had some nice display of power along with speed and agility. I was actually impressed by this guy. I kind of want to see a little bit more from him. I might actually do some research on him down the road.
Yeah.
During the match, I enjoyed the slap fest that we kept getting, where he slapped him like 3 consecutive times, and every time he wants to try to do something about it, but the referee's like, oh, come on. He's like, hey, man, he's up here slapping me in the face. What the hell? It's disrespectful. Just saying.
Yeah.
There are some slow moments here and there throughout the match with some decent bits of fast-paced action thrown in. So I'd say kind of a mixed bag for me personally. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. Kind of in the middle. No big deal. Not much of a story, and I think that kind of works against the match for me as well.
That's fair.
Not really having much substance, but that may contribute to my disinterest along the way during the match. I tried to keep some kind of attention, but nice belly to belly by Fumas to get the win. I thought it was a pretty nice belly to belly. I don't know how often that move is used back in those days. So.
No, that was a pretty rare move, and it was only a 6-minute match, like just shy of 7. So
exactly.
But for what it was a pretty good match. We pretty much saw what Doug Furnas could do, his agility, his power, and that's a nice mixture to have if you're a man of that size to be able to be agile like that. But yeah, I definitely want to do more research on him and see what became of him, or if he was one of those that he got like a knee injury, because that does happen, and they just were never heard from again. So
I've heard some pretty sad stories over the years. Up and comers, career is completely ruined, just like that.
And I'm blinking of an eye, gone. Moving on, we have Tommy Rich versus the one of the greatest of all time, Harley Race. I'm sorry, if you cannot mention anybody in wrestling and not mention Harley Race. So that's a lesson to you younger kids out there. Know your wrestling history. There's nothing wrong with being a fan, but know the history. Don't just sit there and say the greatest of all time are Undertaker, Stone Cold, The Rock, and Kurt Angle. Like, you got to put Harley Race in there. You got to put a couple of other older, Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes come to mind too. But we're not here to debate that. Harley
Respect
Race,
the
one of the greatest.
classics, man.
Respect the classics, man. This was actually a very like a 6 minute, and I want to correct myself. The Doug Furnace match was 11 minutes long. The match before that, Rotunda and Iron Sheik, was almost 7 minutes. This one here was just a little bit over 6.5 minutes long, but it was still a good match.
You know what? Yeah, it was just over 6, but they use every single minute during this match. Total teeter-totter match. Nobody really gains a major advantage. Very fast-paced match. A lot of fun. This was a very fun, short, sweet match. You know, they did everything they could possibly do in those 6 minutes. Nice reversal of a crossbody by Race to get the win, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, this is one of the better matches on the card for sure.
One little fun fact about Harley Race, he would only wrestle house shows until he retired from active wrestling in December of 1990. He wouldn't return until the following year's Great American Bash. So this was pretty much the last time we saw him on any kind of television until the following year.
Crazy.
Just doing the house shows. Yeah. So, all right, now for some gold. Can't have a pay-per-view without some gold. And we have the NWA United States Tag Team Championship. We have the Southern Boys, which is Steve Armstrong and Tracy Smothers. If I'm not mistaken, Steve Armstrong is the brother of the Road Dogg, if I'm not mistaken.
I'd have to look that one up.
I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I think his last name is Armstrong. Versus the Midnight Express, which is Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane, with one of my favorite managers of all time, Jim Cornette, with racket in hand. Love Jim Cornette. And
he is something else, man.
The thing I love about Cornette is he's not afraid to fucking be honest with you. You're not going to like what he says, but he's going to be fucking honest with you. And I respect that.
That's why I love those little vignettes they did back around 97, where it was him voicing his opinion on Raw. He did it for several segments, and I love those segments.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you can actually talk about the other guy. You can actually talk shit about Hulk Hogan and get away with it.
Yeah.
What? Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria, people.
And before we talk about this match, I do want to say, if you haven't watched it yet, what is it? The Dark Side of the Ring, I think it's what it's called. The show on YouTube. It's also on Vice. The one that I watched most recently was about the Big Boss Man. I definitely watched that one. Jim Cornette actually breaks down because he considered Boss Man like a really good friend. So it's those things are really rough to watch because you see the other side of, and I've watched the Benoit one a while back, and that one was really hard to watch because it goes into specifics about what happened to Benoit there towards the end.
I can't remember if I watched that one or not. I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and like you said, they're not the easiest thing to sit through.
No,
it's like watching the Raw immediately after Owen Hart dying. There's no way you're going to get through that with a dry eye. If you don't have a fucking soul.
Or even the Raw where Guerrero passed away.
That too.
That's another one. Yeah. But anywho, Southern Boys versus the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette for the NWA United States Tag Team Championship. Psycho, take it away.
You know what? Not a bad match. Another quick start to the match, by the way. Like I said, this happened periodically. I don't know much about these Southern Boys, but you know what? I really enjoyed watching them in the ring. These guys were really good together. They were a really good tag team, very fast-paced action throughout the match. I want to see more of these guys. I want to look them up, find out more about their career. This happened a couple of times throughout this show.
My only thing about them that you couldn't do today is the attire they were wearing. You could not wear the Confederate rebel flag today and get away with it in any wrestling promotion. You could not do it today.
No. Too many people get pissed off about it.
Yeah.
Too many people would get offended. That's the word.
I get why they would. I totally get it. But at the same time, it's like, it's just a character. But then again, where do you draw the line? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Things are different from 30 years ago to now. You know what I mean? But back then you could do shit like that and get away with it. But
yeah.
But anyway, but the match really does pick up as we get to the final moments. We get some ref stupidity towards the end of the match, kind of costing the Southern Boys a win as far as I'm concerned, not being there for the freaking count. That's just my opinion. But Midnight Express actually wins with a roll-up. Another roll-up. We should make this a drinking game. I should go get my booze. Seriously. That was a joke over there.
Entertainment today, the surprise roll-up.
Not to be confused with the fruit roll-up.
Not the fruit. Oh, fruit roll-ups. That's good. Cherry. Got to be cherry.
I'd rather make fruit roll-ups. They do. They do.
They do?
And Gushers.
Oh, I remember Gushers.
I never was a fan of Gushers.
No. It's funny you mentioned, and this is totally off topic, but there was a gum back in the day. I think it was called Fresh Mint. It had that liquid center in the middle.
Fresh Up, and I know where you're going with this.
Oh, you know where I'm going with this one?
Go ahead, say it.
Mom had a specific name for it that we didn't get as kids, and as we got older, I was like, Mom?
Ew. Mom? Ew.
For those who want to know, our mother called it cum gum.
You know where she got it from, though?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't know?
No.
There was a comedy show that she showed me at some point when I was a kid. It was Whoopi Goldberg and Billy Connolly. And they're having a conversation. They're having a little conversation before they actually get on stage. You know how sometimes they do that with comedy shows back then. And they mentioned the Fresh Up, and they mentioned, oh, you know what they call that? Cum gum. And I saw that, and I was like, that's where you got it from? I was like, what the hell, Mom? But but it's still funny to reference that because I don't think they sell that gum anymore.
No,
they do.
I don't think they do. I really don't think they do. There's a lot of good gums they don't make anymore, like Beeman's. Got a stick?
What?
Beeman's.
Shit.
That's an old gum. That's the kind of shit Papa used to have in his pocket before they stopped making it. Yeah, and the skull and the cigar. Yeah. Moving on. Next match, we got Tom Zenk versus the premiere, the debut of Big Van Vader.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was with the helmet?
I don't know, but it was fucking cool as fuck to watch, though, man. It was cool.
It shot steam or whatever the fuck out of it. Fog or whatever.
It was angry. It's so angry.
It had to sit on his head all the way to the ring. So
it probably was just really bad breath. Is probably what it was.
Maybe.
Yeah. But again, this was a 2-minute match. This was quick and to the fucking point.
There's nothing to talk about. 2-minute squash match. The other Z-Man didn't get any kind of offensive throughout the entire match. It was literally get in the ring, couple of moves, 1, 2, 3, you're done.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've seen Goldberg matches faster than this.
Yeah, and but again, it's the debut of Vader, who just would become just Vader down the road. So
exactly,
well, he was a pretty agile big guy as well. Yeah. Oh yeah. Is he in the Hall of Fame? I don't remember if he is.
You know what?
I want to say he is, but I'm not sure.
I have to check that one. I don't think so. I don't think he is.
Yeah. Fairly quick match, pretty dominant win for Vader. So we'll just move on to the next tag team match. We have the Fabulous Freebirds, which is Michael P.S. Hayes, dickwad, and Garvin. I'm sorry. After what he said about Chelsea Green, I just cannot give him any credit anymore. I can't do it. He was wrong, 100% wrong.
At the end of the day, he stands by what he says. That's fine. Stand your ground. Go ahead. But I do not agree.
But you were wrong.
Especially now.
It's funny because Chelsea, when she won it on the post show, was like, I dedicate this title to Michael P.S. Hayes, and I'm like,
there you go.
I love it.
Subtle, very
Chelsea
subtle.
Green is so over with the crowd. How could you not make her champion?
We could say the same thing about at least 1 or 2 other people in the company.
Oh, I could think of one. LA Knight. Yeah. So yeah, whatever. Anyhow, the Freebirds versus one of my favorite tag teams of the 90s, the Steiner brothers, Rick and Scott Steiner, coming out in their Michigan Letterman jackets. I'm sorry. I always loved the Steiner brothers. Mm-hmm. When Scott did his own thing, Big Papa Dump, then I kind of stopped caring.
He was nowhere near as great when he became the Big Papa Dump. He just never was. And watching this match is a clear indication of that.
And not just that, but I didn't know Rick was the older brother. I thought Scott was the older brother.
You probably thought that because of how much bigger he is, maybe?
Yeah. And not just that, but, the dog-faced gremlin, which I think plays very heavily into Braun Breaker's character now.
Heavily. Mm-hmm.
So this is a 13-minute match, and this was back and forth. And, growing up in Texas, of course, we are fans of the Von Erichs, and I will die on this hill. If it wasn't for the Von Erichs, the Fabulous Freebirds would not even be famous, because they had some unbelievable matches back in the day, especially at Texas Stadium up in Dallas. That's where they were, up at the Sportatorium, which is where Stone Cold got his start too. So, go ahead.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. First thing I'll address is that both of these two teams, between the Freebirds and the Steiners, both were tag team champions the previous year at one point or another. Yeah. Initially, the Freebirds were champion during the summertime. They would lose to the Steiners sometime in the fall, and they would actually lose the belts to, Doom? That comes out later in the match. They're the current tag team champions. I just thought that was interesting to point out. Another quick start before the bell. Like I said, we got a trend going on here with this fucking show.
Yep.
Now, I do agree this is a very good match. There is one thing about it that was bringing me down. There's too many moments, too many of them, where there's no action going on. There's too much showboating happening. There's too many moments where there is absolutely nothing interesting going on. And you can't do that to me more than a couple of times in a match, because guess what, people? My mind starts to wander. And I start to think about other things. And next thing I know, I'm 2, 3, 5 minutes into the match, and I don't know what the fuck just happened because I wasn't watching it.
Yeah.
So I had to rewatch this one a couple of times.
I get that. Yeah.
But when they were wrestling, it was fun. It was a fun match all the way around, except for that one little side note, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I do a nice job on the ref's part towards the end of the match. You notice that one of the Freebirds was going for a pin, but he wasn't the legal man. Nice catch. You don't see
that was beautiful. Yeah, that was nice.
And then Rick delivers a belly-to-belly overhead suplex, and Scott gets the win. So
to me, what was impressive is Scott hit the Frankensteiner in the middle of the ring.
Yes, he did. Yes, he sure did.
I actually remember the first time we saw the Frankensteiner, and they asked Rick, "Why do you call it the Frankensteiner?" And it's because when we put him in the movie, he's like this. Looks like Frankenstein, so we call it the Frankensteiner. And I'm like, that is the most honest answer to any question I've ever heard in wrestling history, and I fucking love it. Now, if Braun Breaker could do it off the top rope without killing himself, that would be fucking beautiful. Because he's botched it a couple of times.
Yeah, maybe just not do that anymore.
Or maybe do it standing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whatever works. Just don't kill yourself, okay?
Steiner Brothers are victorious. They beat the Freebirds. Again, was not a big fan of the Freebirds. I'm not a fan of Michael PSAs. I'm just, not a fan.
I've just never really experienced them. The first impression I got from them years ago was watching Highlander for the first time. There's an opening match of the movie.
But then again, maybe I'm biased because in Texas, the Von Erichs were like gods in wrestling. So maybe I'm biased.
Well,
if I grew up in Atlanta, maybe I'd like the Freebirds. Just saying.
Nope, we're good old Texas boys, and we got to root for the Texans.
Up next, we have a 6-man tag match. We have the Horsemen. We have, we got Sid Vicious, Barry Windham, and AA Arn Anderson, who has by far the most devastating spinebuster I have ever seen in professional wrestling. Yep. That dude is still wrestling to this day. He's like 100, but he looks the same. I'm sorry. Anderson's a fucking beast. Versus
that spinebuster he did to Undertaker at WrestleMania 18 was fucking beautiful.
Versus Junkyard Dog. Again, we're seeing more WWF recycled people.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. God.
Go ahead. El Gigante or whatever the
El Gigante. Oh my God.
You know who he is, right? You know who he is.
WrestleMania 9. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That was the only match Undertaker had to end in disqualification, if I'm not mistaken.
That is 100% correct. Yes.
Yeah. This was an 8-minute match, and for it being a 6-man tag, I thought it'd be a little bit longer. I'm not gonna lie, this match was kind of boring, especially the fucking way it ended. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Disqualification for over the top rope? I was annoyed.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing about it that I really couldn't stand because it didn't make any damn sense. We've seen people going over the top rope throughout the show. Why this one time? Because why? Why? Because it's onto the ramp, but not on the floor, on the concrete. I mean, where's the medium, guys? Where is it? Because I don't have a clue.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Yeah,
but
a dude that tall should not wrestle. I mean, he's 7'7".
Dude, sorry. He didn't even wrestle. He didn't even get involved in the match. He didn't do anything. He was just there for show, as far as I'm concerned. That's the same thing he was in WWF. He was just an attraction. That was it.
And not just that, but he had like no influence on the main event where he was chained to to Ole Anderson. So it just
not really. No,
this match was a stinker, big time, and no fault of his own. He's just trying to get paid. I get that. So we're gonna.
I don't fully agree with that. I feel like it was a good performance from Paul Orndorff. I thought he showed that he still could go early on in the match. But here's the thing about the match for me is that he spends most of the match in the ring. The Junkyard Dog, he does get in for a little while, but not too long. And of course, like I said, the other guy, Giante, he gets in the ring for like 1 or 2 different times, but he doesn't do anything. It's like as soon as he gets in there, they all scatter like cockroaches. The 4 horsemen just running away, whatever.
Yep.
But Paul was the workhorse of this particular match, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it was terrible. I just don't see the point in putting this tall guy in if he didn't do anything. It was pointless.
Yeah, agreed.
But that's just my opinion.
Next, we have the NWA United States Heavyweight Championship between the Total Package, Lex Luger, and Mean Mark Callis with Paul E. Dangerous. I'm sorry.
Boy.
I am sorry, but...
boy.
Yeah, Paul Heyman can do nothing wrong in my eyes. I fucking love Paul Heyman. I would love to meet the man, shake his hand and go, you're just fucking awesome. There's no other words I want to say, just you're fucking awesome. And of course, he's got the fucking mullet. Back when he had hair, he's got the mullet and the cell phone.
And that's just funny to me, that he's still carrying around the damn phone after all these years.
Yeah. So where do we begin with this one?
Well, for my money, this was a fairly technically sound match throughout the entire runtime, but here's my problem. It wasn't a very exciting match, in my opinion. There wasn't much substance. There wasn't really a story going on here. It just 2 guys fighting for a title, but for my money, I got enjoyment out of watching this match because of Mark, knowing that he's going to be debuting in WWF in roughly 5 months as the Phenom, The Undertaker at Survivor Series. And watching him in this match, you do catch a little bit of his mannerisms, some of his repertoire that we've grown to see, but not all of it. There's a few things we don't see until he gets over to that company.
Yeah.
Which is fine. The ending of the match, interesting. We get a ref bump while Mark is actually in the torture rack. Kudos to Lex Luger for actually getting him up there, as far as I'm concerned. But Paulie actually clocks Lex with his phone. Doesn't give Mark a win, unfortunately, but then Lex gets a win shortly with the bionic forearm. And one of the, like you said before, the quickest goddamn count I've probably seen in forever.
It's funny when they showed the instant replay and they showed the count looked like a normal count, like it was normal time. And I'm like, that's how it should have been, not boom.
It's like, quick. It was quicker than Mike Tyson's count at WrestleMania 14.
Yeah, that was
seriously. It was quick, but
now
if you're quicker than that, then you gotta.
You mentioned Mark Callis. This would be his final appearance on a WCW pay-per-view after allegedly being told by Booker Ole Anderson that he did not draw well. I want to say that again. He did not draw well.
At the time, he wasn't.
He did not draw well. I can't draw well either, but we're not talking about drawing. We're talking about, never mind. But you know what? One door closes, another one opens. Callis would head to WWF, or he would become absolutely nothing. We would never hear from him again. He was a total piece of shit, just gone.
Total hack. What a waste of time.
I just got a text. Nope, actually, he would become the Phenom known as The Undertaker at Survivor Series. But let's talk about the real longevity debut at that Survivor Series in 1990. And that is the Gobbledygooker, because we're still talking about it today.
Yeah, and he was at WrestleMania 17, so there you go.
Yes, he was.
Big Battle Royal. Jesus Christ.
Oh, my.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, and it was a rocky road for Mark leading until he got to WWF. But you know what? I look at it as it was the best thing that ever happened to him, career-wise.
Yep.
Because it put his ass on the map, and it put him over with the fans. Literally the first night he showed up.
Yep.
So,
well, they said the same thing about Stone Cold Steve Austin, that he wasn't a draw in ECW.
Yeah, they did.
Said the same thing to him. And what happened? Yeah, we don't talk about that, do we?
Greatest champion of the Attitude Era. There you go.
That's debatable.
No, it's not.
That's debatable. But either way.
Okay, fine. We give some love to Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels too.
Fuck Shawn, not Bret. Fuck Bret. Bret screwed Bret. Let's be real. Bret screwed Bret.
Okay, Vinny. Sure thing, Vinny.
Whatever. Yeah. Moving. Hey, we're not unbiased here. We tell it how it is. I was never a Bret Hart guy. I'm just never a Bret Hart guy. I just couldn't get behind him.
He is my favorite of all time, along
I
with
thought
Kurt
Owen
Angle.
was better.
Owen was great too.
Owen
He
was
just never
better
got a
than Bret,
chance to
and I
really.
will die on that hill.
He just never got the opportunity to reach that height. Unfortunately, you know what? That was the wrong choice of words. You know what? Let's just move on. Jesus Christ.
I was gonna say I would die on that hill, but so did
man.
Wow.
That totally came out of nowhere. Can we move on from that, please? Jesus Christ.
Debating
I am
if I want
so
to edit that
sorry,
part
Owen.
out or not.
I am Owen. I am so sorry that just came out. I'm so sorry. That's not
Anyway,
cool.
moving on. We had the NWA World Tag Team Championship match between the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. I'm sorry. I love the Rock and Roll Express. They are such an incredible tag team. I'm glad they're finally in the Hall of Fame.
They are a tag team I've heard about numerous times throughout the years.
And they still wrestle to this day. They still wrestle.
Is that right?
Yeah. Versus the tag team champions of Doom with Butch Reed and damn. That was actually a pretty good one there. Damn. Ron Simmons. That's what I always will know him for, is the damn guy. Of course, he was Farouk, obviously, too. But
yeah, of course. Loved him as Farouk.
I think he was the first African-American champion in WCW, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken.
That is true. Yes.
50-minute match. I forgot to mention who their manager is. Come on, playa. We're going to do a triple threat match today. We got Teddy Theodore Long.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I love Teddy Long. Love Teddy Long.
Always been a fan of Teddy.
Yeah. Love Teddy.
Especially when they made him the general manager of SmackDown. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Well, come on, playa. Let's do this. Fucking love when he would do that. Anyway, the match.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. This was the other match that I just could not seem to keep my concentration on. So I don't really remember anything that happened throughout the match other than a couple of power moves here and there. But quite frankly, the only thing that really stood out was the finale, which got interesting. You know, you got Butch Reed hits a shoulder block off the top rope, gets the win for his team. But quite frankly, dude, I can't tell you. I was going to go back and rewatch the match. I just never got around to it. I was busy doing other stuff for my channel. So I got nothing on this one, man.
You're not the only one. I was not really invested in this match, and that's saying something, because I love the Rock and Roll Express.
It's a shame.
And I'm a big fan of Ron Simmons. Just could not. Just the chemistry wasn't there.
I don't think it was.
It was like watching. It'd be like rewatching the Cody versus CM Punk match, the last PLE. There's just no chemistry. It just wasn't there. And that match was just horrible. At SummerSlam is where it was. That match just had no chemistry. This one, I felt the same way. It just wasn't there. And it's not their fault. Just sometimes you don't have the chemistry to do it. And no fault of anybody. Just the way it happens.
But it was nice to see Ron Simmons back in his heyday before he eventually would become the leader of the Nation of Domination down the road. So
for like a minute, for a cup of coffee.
Until The Rock kicked him out.
Yeah. Well, The Rock was the next big thing coming up, so it kind of made sense.
He was. Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I'm sure Ron Simmons didn't do too bad. You know, he became a part of the APA. And then every now and again, he'll pop up and dang.
I love the fact that they still bring him back every so often. You just don't see it coming.
Moving on to the main event of the evening. This is the match I was looking forward to watching, because this is a match that I've heard about. And I know one of these guys has always fallen just a little bit short when it came to winning the big gold. We have Sting, and this is colorful Sting with a ducktail, which tells you it was 1990, because every guy who had that little ducktail in the back. Versus the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, accompanied to the ring by Ole Anderson. But stipulation in the match, there was like lumberjacks around the ring to keep the Horsemen out of the match. And as an added bonus, Ole Anderson had to be handcuffed to El Gigante on the freaking entryway. They were handcuffed together to ensure he did not interfere. Now, my thing about that is, if you're going to have a stipulation like that, at least have him try to get away. At least try to get the big man involved. Nothing happened. Now, this was a great match. Don't get me wrong. But I would have liked to have had some sort of interference from the Horsemen and or Ole handcuffed to El Gigante.
Well, the Horsemen tried. They tried. They tried to rush the ring, but everybody on the outside took care of that problem quickly. So.
But again, like I said, there should have been
more. You
wanted
to see actual interference, is what?
Yeah, there should have been more actual interference, not just we tried one time, we're done. I mean, come on, guys, keep going.
It's one of the few times that kind of safety protocol actually works. Usually, they don't. Like, oh, you're all banned from ringside, and if you get involved, you're all suspended indefinitely. Then always end up being some random asshole that you weren't thinking about showing up through the crowd, interferes, and it's like, what the?
Does that mean we're spoiled? Because I think this actually worked back in 1990. Now that we're like, we expect someone to come out of the rafters somewhere and go, I'm going to hit you with this chair. The rep never saw it. Guess what? It was that guy. Who was that other dude that joined the Horsemen that played for the Bears? God damn it, I cannot think of it. Mongo.
Oh, Mondo McMichael.
Mongo like candy. Yes. Someone like that. That would have been fucking great. I think he was still playing football at that time. So
yeah, he wasn't anywhere near
not quite
ready
there
for
yet.
the company yet.
So Sting versus Flair, dream match. Your thoughts?
Pretty much. I've seen the match before, but it was nice to see it again. I love seeing the classics from both Sting and both Flair. You know, with Sting no selling the chops or no selling certain moves along the match, Flair going to the top rope just to get thrown off and, you know, completely working against him, backfiring like it always does. Flair begging for his life. That's always a classic. You gotta love that shit. But I do appreciate the storytelling that JR gave us before the match about how Sting had a knee injury going into this match. He says he's 100%. We learned very quickly that's not the case. Ric Flair actually targets the knee very quickly. And that carries on throughout the match, which is just smart. That's a smart thing to do. That's good wrestling as far as I'm concerned. And he takes control for a pretty damn good while because of that. But once Sting eventually later on down the match, once he regains control, the match is pretty much nonstop fun until we get the finish with Sting getting a roll-up victory once again with the roll-ups. What the hell? That's like 4 of them or something.
Here's the thing about that, though. You don't have to be the strongest guy to win. You got to be the smartest guy to win. And that was a smart thing to do. 100%.
That's just crazy to me. So many of roll-ups throughout the match, but this was a good one. And you know what? This was the first World Heavyweight Championship reign for Mr. Sting. The first one.
It was. Now,
kudos to you, sir.
What I liked at the end was when they interviewed him, he was very humble. You know, Flair's a good champion. Don't get me wrong. He's a great champ. He was very... I read some of the comment threads when I was watching it, just, he's kissing he's kissing Ric Flair's ass. No, Ric Flair was a great champion for the time. You know what I mean? He was, with a tear in my eye, and this is 2 years away from that, as a matter of fact. Actually, a year and a half, now that I think about it.
It's right around
a year and a half away. Yeah. Now, that being said, Sting would hold the NWA World Heavyweight title throughout the remainder of 1990, so he held it for 6 months minimum.
Sweet.
Shortly after the GAB, the Great American Bash, stupid. Shortly after the Great American Bash, a mysterious wrestler allegedly from Sting's past would begin haunting him under the name the Black Scorpion.
You know what? And that right there, I'm glad you brought that up, because this right here, this show is before I ever started watching WCW. And there was one random day I was flipping through the channels, came across Sting, was very much impressed. And I do remember that storyline because one of the few times that I was flipping through channels looking for Sting, hoping he'd show up, that was that was actually going on at the time. So that means I started watching him around what would you say, 91?
91. Yeah.
So that gives me a date on when I started watching Sting when I was a fan. So
I think every kid was a fan of Sting, to be honest with you. Even I was a fan of Sting.
He was just a little bit older guy.
Yeah. Sting's good. And even when he became the Crow Sting and during the whole Attitude Era, the Monday Nitro and all that, didn't really wrestle a whole lot, was just kind of a presence that was there. It is what it is,
It worked. It worked for what it was.
Yeah, I really think they could have used him a little bit better. This is Monday morning quarterback type of shit where he probably could have wrestled. He probably could have beaten Hulk Hogan a lot sooner than he did for that title. But neither here or there. We all know what WCW did. And this is literally 5.5 years away from that big, who's the third guy? Actually, this is exactly 6 years away from that.
Exactly 6 years away.
Yeah. Yep. Because they did away with the Great American Bash for a little while and did the Bash at the Beach instead.
Mm-hmm.
So that will conclude the card. So here at the John Zodiac Podcast, we do not give letter grades anymore. We did that, but we felt like I always felt like I was grading on a curve because I was always given better grades than I probably should have. So here in a moment, a beautiful title belt will appear in between the two of us. It is the Josh Zodiac title belt, the Josh Zodiac podcast title belt, I should say, and it'll appear in between us here momentarily. That being said, 1 out of 5, Psycho Nerd, what do you rate this show? 1 out of 5 title belts.
Well, I'm going to try to be a little generous here, but when you get right down to it, the fact that it took me that I had to go back and rewatch at least half the matches on the card because I had a lot of trouble keeping my interest up. I don't know if that's more of I'm so into AEW right now that everything else kind of pales in comparison.
That's fair.
Or if maybe the show itself just wasn't the spunkiest show that they could have had. I feel like I've seen shows with a lot more fast-paced action throughout. And this is before the Lucha Libres ever showed up as well. So that also could be a factor in all this.
True.
I'm going to give it, I don't think it was a terrible show, but it could have been a hell of a lot more exciting. I'm going to go C+ on this.
We're not doing letter grades.
Remember? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, belts. What would that,
1 out of 5.
What would that equivalent? I'm trying to think. Sorry, I lost train of thought. I guess I'll give it 3 belts. You know what? 2.5. 2.5. That'll work.
2.5.
Yeah, okay. 2.5.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat you're in. But for me, it was more of the nostalgia of the show, seeing some old names that I hadn't seen in a very long time and just forgot that they were in the locker room at this time in a different promotion besides WWE or WWF at the time. But for me, a lot of nostalgia played a bigger factor than anything else. And seeing Sting beat Ric Flair for his first world title, that's pretty cool to see that. So I gave it a 3, and I initially had it at a 2, but as I was thinking about it while we were talking, I'm like, no, I think I'm being kind of harsh. I gave it a 3. So with the Psycho giving it a 2.5, and I give it a 3, that gives us an overall rating of 2.75. Not horrible. I mean, I'm going to say this. If you're going to watch this show, I would say watch the Doug Furnace match because that was a good match. Definitely watch the Vader debut match, even though it's quick. Watch that one. Definitely want to watch the Steiners versus the Freebirds, even though it was a little dead points here and there. And definitely watch Sting versus Flair. You can't go wrong with two goats, 2 guys that are in the Hall of Fame. Sting's in the Hall of Fame, right? Yeah, he is. I remember watching that. And Ric Flair's like a 3-time Hall of Famer now by himself, like the Horseman, and then with Evolution. So yeah. So definitely. Oh, and the Luger Mark Callis match as well. That's definitely a pretty good match. And you also get to see the last time Mark Callis, he performs on a pay-per-view before he makes a jump to WWF and we're never heard from again. Gobbledygooker overshines him. Just kidding, kids.
As it happens.
As it does. It does happen. But again, this will conclude our review of the 1990 version of WCW's Great American Bash. That said, Psycho Nerd, promote your shit.
All right, well, you can feel free to find the Psycho Nerd on my channel. That's Repeat Movie Viewer. That's my YouTube channel. You can find all my videos as well as my podcasts. I am actually releasing a new podcast as of today, the day of this recording. Me and CJ talk about what we want to see at Fantastic Fest this year. And there's a couple of Pete's House videos that are currently being edited as we speak. So more videos are coming. They are coming.
How many subs are we sitting at right now?
It's still at 42. Hasn't been much of an increase lately, but
well, come on, guys.
But I'm confident. I'm confident that I can. Yeah, I'm working on it.
Get him up to 50, y'all. Really. And again, the links to his show will be down in the description below. I also want to promote the Wrestling Rewind podcast that I do with my buddy Daryl Connor. He was here for night 1 of SummerSlam. I love doing the show with him. It's always a good time. That link is down below. And my TikTok buddy, Minx Morose, I said her name right finally, not Monroe, Morose. She has an interview show with pretty much AEW, TNA, and independent wrestlers called Shooting the Breeze with Minx Morose. Her link will be down below as well. And not just DJ Zodiac Podcast, the greatest wrestling podcast you've never heard of. I always stumble around that. I don't understand why. I've said it like 100 times almost at this point. We also have the Repeat Movie Viewers, real reviews by real fans. You're in for a treat this week, kids, because this week we are going to review
Real Movie Critics.
What did I say? Review?
You said the Repeat Movie Viewers. You mean Repeat Movie?
Shit. The Real Movie Critics. Fuck.
There you go.
All over the fucking place.
Trying to steal my shit, motherfucker.
I'm hungry. That's what it is. I'm fucking hungry.
Oh, that's the same excuse that she gives me whenever she's hungry.
That's fair. Anywho, this week on the Real Movie Critics, I had to say that really slow because you're in my head now. We have a rare treat because we're going to be reviewing a movie that turns 40 years old this year. Actually, it turned 40 years old a week ago, but we're reviewing it in line with Lord Scuba Copper's review for Gore and More. That is, of course, the movie that ruined our childhoods. It killed our best friend. That is, of course, Transformers, the movie.
The greatest Transformers movie ever made.
Undoubtedly the best. The movie that had to move merchandise, so they killed everybody.
You bastards! Was it worth ripping my heart out?
But again, you can catch both DJ Zodiac Podcast and the Real Movie Critics on the YouTube page titled Real Zodiac Productions. Those two podcasts are separated by different playlists. We are currently sitting at 95 subscribers. We are this close to 100. So if this is your first time here, we thank you for being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, hit that bell notification. We do have new content every week, unless otherwise noted, for both podcasts. Let's get us up to 100. I know a lot of people are watching the show, but they're not subscribing. I see the analytics. I know what's going on out there. It's free. Just hit the button. Just hit the button. It's not
you make us happy.
And do it for this guy too. Seriously, do it for him. You know, he doesn't put out consistent stuff, but he does put out shit. So give him some love. So for the Psycho Nerd, I am DJ Zodiac. This has been DJ Zodiac podcast review of the Great American Bash back in 1990. And that will be the final bell for this episode. We broke down the matches, called out the surprises. Wow, my voice fucking cracked hard there. Did you catch that?
Here, you want me to give you a throat punch?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Called out the surprises and probably cut a few promos of our own along the way. So whether you agree with our takes or think we are just turned heel, let us know what you think in the comments. But also don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and share the podcast with your fellow members of the IWC. Until next time, kids, keep your shoulders off the mat, your finishers protected, and always remember, on this podcast, the conversation will never tap out. We will catch you on the next episode, kids. We'll see you next time.
Lights go down, the tension's rising high.